I am running late today because my mom and my sister and my aunt came by because they were touristing around North Beach, and they brought me a slice of pizza. So they also picked up presents to take back for my nephews and stuff. Tony's Pizza in North Beach. So good. Oh my God. The ricotta cheese that was on this. I need to find out where they got it. Because, oh my God. Oh. This one was called the New Yorker. They had another one called the Motorhead, which I automatically loved, but it looked like a loaf of French bread. It was so thick and so like massive. I couldn't just like grab a slice of it. That was like a knife and fork pizza. It looked like a lasagna at first. So I just realized that tomorrow I am not going to have time before I have to fly to Vegas. So today is it. Merry Christmas, everybody. Happy holidays. Where are we at in Hanukkah right now? Does anybody know? I know the menorah is up, but I don't know if they've lit any candles yet. But I think the menorah goes up on the first night, doesn't it? The Bill Graham menorah in Union Square. Oh, no, it's not. Oh, Hanukkah starts on Christmas Day this year. So it truly is a happy holiday as opposed to a Merry Christmas because they're both on the same day. Sorry, I don't know what I did today on my way out the door when I was like messing with my hair, but it wasn't working. There, better. Did you see the Santa Cruz Wharf pier? I mean, it didn't collapse, but like a chunk of it did. 3 people went into the water. 2 of them had to be rescued. One of them saved themselves, and I was like, yeah, dude. Who goes into the water on a collapsed wharf pier? Like, right. The pier is like way out in the water. It's nowhere near the shore. And 2 people are like, oh no, come save us. And one person was like, psh, later, bitches. I'll bet you that person was the surfer. I'll tell you what, ever since I learned how to surf, I feel like I could paddle through anything now. I don't know how it happens. You just keep doing it and doing it and doing it. Oh, so funny. Comments turned off. I'm sorry. Hey, Dan. Hey, Mike. Happy Festivus. Merry early Christmas. Hey, Brad. You heard of something called Christmaka? No. I'm not going to recommend you do that. Wow, Donald, the whole back section is gone, huh? I saw pictures of the debris. Yeah, sorry. If you're just joining us, the reason I am so late today is because my mom, my sister, and my aunt, my aunt's visiting from Scottsdale, from Arizona. They were all tooling around North Beach being tourists. So they came by to see where I work. And they brought me some pizza from Tony's Pizza in North Beach. And since I realized I'm already like really short on time this week because is it just me or are these lights like really streaky right now? Trying to make it stop. So I realized I was really short on time. So I figured if I didn't like log on right now, right, Lisa? Hey, Cornette, how you doing? So I figured if I, as rude as it is to be like nom, 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 on pizza while I talk to you, it's a timing factor, right? Because it's already almost 6 o'clock. Love you, Cornette. Missed you bunches. Sorry I missed the Merkins on Saturday. I did not realize that the Merkins were at the exact same time I was interviewing Mark Asageta. You're officially on vacay? How's that possible as an owner? Do you just tell people that you're not grooming dogs for a few weeks or a few weeks? Do you just tell people you're not grooming dogs these days and you're like, eh. It is major glare. It's not just me. Okay. I wonder if it's the camera. Oh, it was the camera. Maybe I got some pizza grease on it. I think. I don't know. Sorry, guys. Apologies there. That's a little embarrassing. My shit was dirty. Hey, Justine. Donald, you should be hungry because that pizza was good. It was like old school, the little pepperonis that are hella thick and ricotta cheese, wood fired. It was good stuff. It's hockey night in Canada. I thought every night was hockey night in Canada. When is there not a hockey night in Canada? I feel like hockey in Canada is the same as football in Texas. There's a game somewhere at all times. It was called the New Yorker, the pizza. And it was, I don't know, whatever the Tony's New Yorker was. Sorry, I had to fix that. So it had pepperoni. It had just like dollops of ricotta cheese everywhere. Great, great red sauce. I don't know. I'm sure there was like some kind of herb because I can feel something sticking in my teeth. Wasn't a basil though. I don't know. But it was delicious. Dan, you had all you can eat pizza at Round Table? When it comes to pizza, I'm a quality over quantity kind of girl. But that's because for anybody who ever works in radio or in concerts, now remember I do both, pizza is the thing they feed you constantly. Yeah. So in concerts, often we'll end up working these crazy long hours. So somebody will, at 2:00 in the morning, when we're just barely finishing up, somebody will order a shit ton of pizza and you'll just be so tired that you'll be like, pizza, food, just to get like some carb energy, because even at that point, the caffeine hasn't worn off. You're just pounding black coffee, trying to stay awake. But for some reason, both concerts and radio, free pizza is like the thing. And because everybody who works in concerts and radio is broke and usually hungry. I'll bet you it was oregano, Justine. Then whenever that happens, you eat the pizza. David, you miss Zachary's? Zachary's is pretty bomb. Yeah, Sherry, it is like quick energy food, and it's cheap, quick energy food. And it's always hot and readily available. But even when it's not hot, even if that pizza's been sitting there for a day, it's still edible. So, yeah. Did I miss anybody? Oh, thanks, Justine. Merry Christmas to you too. Yeah, sorry. I don't know. I must have not been paying attention, and greasy pizza fingers touched the like when I opened my laptop, I must have like greasy thumbprinted right over that camera and not realized it. Sorry. Hi, Red. What's everybody doing for the holidays? Is everybody done with their shopping? Because if you're not done with your shopping, I have two recommendations. One is your local record store, and the other is concert tickets. Tom, if I was not here, I would also miss the Bay Area because it's awesome. It's funny, my aunt's visiting, which she never does. I can count on one hand the number of times my aunt has come to visit my whole life. I'm 100% sure she's been here, like, this is her 5th time probably. And she's like, oh, everything's been so nice. But then she also was like, oh, you can't walk back to work. We'll have to drive you. And I'm like, it's across the street. And she's like, but you shouldn't walk. And I was like, you guys just walked all over North Beach. I can walk across the street. So it's crazy how like the zeitgeist has told the world that the Bay Area is, you know, dangerous and trashy, and everybody can't stop believing it, even when they're right in front of you. Even they literally can't believe their own eyes, because they walked all over North Beach today and had a lovely time and were not threatened by anyone and didn't come close to stepping in poop and all the things. Merry Christmas, Kara. Dan, you're making eggnog French toast. I hate to break it to you, Dan, but French toast is already pretty much eggnog. It's basically eggnog without the booze. Are you putting the booze in it? Is that what you're doing? You grew up in Belmont, Tom? Nice. Belmont used to have a Rocky Horror Picture Show cast back then. Which one were they? Another Dimension. That's what they were called, I think. Yeah. They were Another Dynamic. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what they were. Wow, Jim. Talk about a dubious honor. Not a fun fact so much. But okay. Red. So Jim would like everyone to know that the restroom at the end of the Santa Cruz Wharf that fell into the ocean today was the first public restroom he used when the pandemic finally ended. Sorry, I keep forgetting that if you're on YouTube, you can't see the Facebook comments and vice versa. Red, you're going to hang out with your sisters for Christmas and their families? Nice. 25 years. Wow. You know, the hard part about that is everybody visiting this week is getting the worst of the weather. I mean, typically we get nice weather at Christmas, but not anymore. Now it's all like rain. Bleh. What are you going to do? That's the recipe, Dan? Yeah. Well, the thing is I'm pretty sure that the recipe for French toast is almost exactly the recipe for eggnog. You just are soaking bread in it. I don't know. Let me see. Let's see. Homemade eggnog, right? And it is... God, don't you hate whenever you look up a recipe online and it's just nonstop garbage until you finally get to it? Yeah, so eggs, sugar, cream. Well, this one calls for cream, but mostly it doesn't. So yeah, eggs, sugar, milk, nutmeg, salt, vanilla, cinnamon, optional alcohol. French toast recipe. Eggs, milk, sugar, salt, cinnamon, vanilla extract, and nutmeg. Literally the same recipe, Dan. So when you're making eggnog, you're actually starting to make French toast. It's just at the end of it's at the end of the eggnog recipe whether or not you decide to also make the French toast with it. Hey, Rodney. The best record store was Vinyl Solution. It's tough to decide the best record store. I mean, we have some really cool record stores, but also record stores are so regional. Red, did you just ask me if I was going to go to the Death Angel Christmas shows that already happened? I went to 1 out of 2. I had to miss the second one. I was flying to San Diego so that I could see, God forbid, and Bleeding Through with Carnifex and Necrogoblicon, which was excellent. Yes, Brandon. It is loaded with cholesterol and sugar. I mean, it's not loaded. It depends on how much sugar you really put in there. Honestly, um, you can really lighten the recipe if you wanted to. It doesn't necessarily require a ton of sugar. You could get away with like barely a tablespoon. I mean, teaspoon. Excuse me. You could get away with like 1 teaspoon of sugar, and then you know, use your pumpkin pie spices. You know, your nutmeg, your cinnamon, or an allspice, or a mace, or whatever. I mean, there's a lot of different options that you could use spice wise. People don't realize that. They think it's all sugar and vanilla. But it's still pretty good. Wait, hold on a second. What are we? Vancouver Canucks versus San Jose Sharks. Oh, the Sharks are actually on an upswing, sort of. All the Bay Area sports teams right now are having a rebuilding year. What do you mean? Apparently, you do add eggs, Dan. Eggs are the main ingredient to both recipes. Eggnog and French toast. I mean, obviously, bread is the main ingredient to French toast, but literally, the French toast recipe is the eggnog recipe. You just make the eggnog, and then instead of drinking it straight, you put bread in it and soak it, and then you fry the bread. Oh yeah, I learned to make French toast in literally in 7th grade home ec class. That's how easy it is to make French toast. Although I was like making cookies at like 4 or 5 years old, so I'm a dessert prodigy. Kidding. I do make a mean chocolate chip cookie though. That's what I was saying, Red. Alcoholic French toast does not sound bad, right? Make like a rum raisin syrup. And then do like a little bit of a float of like 151 on top so that you could light it on fire and have flaming French toast. I mean, why not? In for a penny, in for a pound, right? Mike, you hate eggnog? You have my sympathies, dude, because I have the single greatest eggnog on the planet, and that is Strauss eggnog. For those of you in the Bay, if you haven't had it yet, you can get it at Whole Foods. It's from Strauss Creamery and Dairy, and they make the most amazing eggnog. It's so good. In fact, Mark and I had Cheers's. Mark Asakeda and I had Cheers's with the Strauss eggnog. He was like, we had like a drink, and we were hanging out after our interview, and then he was gonna go, and I was like, "Are you sure you want to go?" Because I was about to break out the eggnog, and he was like, "Strauss," and I was like, "Yeah, the Strauss," and he's like, "Oh." And for like a moment, we were able to nerd out on the fact that we both love Strauss eggnog and have a level of appreciation for eggnog that, well, is quite frankly probably unhealthy, but we're proud. Yeah, Brandon, Amoeba's still around. It's in Berkeley and Hollywood, I believe. Red, you really didn't know that they already happened? Can I talk like Michael Jackson? You know, it's funny. Nobody ever taps in on Twitch, but on the rare occasion that somebody does tap in on Twitch, it is always weird. Can I talk like Michael Jackson? No. I don't even know how Michael Jackson talks. I mean, I kind of do, but I don't have a Michael Jackson impersonation that I'm willing to do. The hippie classic badass store. Which one, Rodney? There are so many. Streetlight Records or Amoeba or Rasputin's. 1, 2, 3, 4 Go Records. Who else is still open? I was just looking up record stores because I was telling people on the radio that if you don't want to have to go to Target or the mall and deal with those people, because they're out there right now, go to your record store. Most of the record stores are closing at 6 tonight and tomorrow, but I believe Streetlight is open till 7, and I believe Amoeba is open till 8. depending on where you are. Hi, Chew. Brad, you add eggs with eggnog and it helps the ingredients stay together. Dan, eggs are the ingredient in eggnog. You don't add eggs. Eggs are the ingredient. Eggs are the main ingredient. Dan, you're confusing me. Rum raisin syrup, right? That sounds good, doesn't it? Rum raisin syrup that you put over the French toast or waffles or pancakes and then do like a little float. Andy Drake, Merry Christmas, sir. How the hell are you? You know, I forgot to tell you, Brian Smith came by for Tom Tolbert's last show. I saw some of the old guard recently and was like, oh, it was crazy. French toast with weed in it. Tom, no one needs that. I mean, I suppose there are some weed butters out there that would be good enough, but dude, just get high and then eat. You don't need to eat to get high. Like, I love the idea of how like everything could just be made with weed now. I get that. I appreciate the excitement. But at my age, we were already cooking shit with weed butter in the way back. And the problem with that is that you get like no control over the dosage. So you might be like high as a kite or not at all, or anything in between. So for my taste, I would rather have the food come out tasting as great as it can. And if I also need to or want to get high, then I would like to have my high as measured as possible. So get your joint, your gummies, your bowls, your whatever it is you're doing, measured out for your weed, and then measure out your French toast ingredients. And they don't need to be in the same bowl. Melody Records. That sounds vaguely familiar. Oh, Justine, the fridge is still dead. I did finally go grocery shopping, so that was good. I now have fresh food in the house. But no refrigerator. I'm still using the wine fridge for everything. Do you guys? Oh my God. I went to Rainbow Grocery in the city to pick up some stuff for a Christmas present for my sister-in-law. And do you know what they had? Because they have an excellent cheesemonger. Oh my God, phone, just stop. There we go. Does your phone ever do that when you're like trying to get to a specific thing and it goes all the way to the these aren't your apps? It's just that page that's like outside your app zone shit, and then it won't go away, and it's all like it starts to, you like move it and it goes nope. My phone fucking does that. It makes me crazy. Okay, so what I was looking for is recent photos because I found the Ski Queen cheese, you guys. I was paying to ship this from New York and they were shipping it from Holland. But now I can just buy it in San Francisco. Oh, and there's a goat version that I didn't know existed. And the cheesemonger at Rainbow told me this is even better. Now, this Ski Queen cheese, I'm not kidding you guys. This one I ordered from Murray's in New York. It tastes like caramel. It is like a caramel cheese. You don't need to eat it with anything. You can just slice it and just let it melt on your tongue. And it's like a light cheddar caramel flavor. It's almost indescribable if you don't have a frame of reference for it. Highly recommend it. Freaking delightful. It's a dessert cheese. Like, it's one of those things where you're going to be like, $9 for a square of cheese. Oh yeah. It's not just a cheese. It's an experience. And then I saw this meme that I had to send to my friend in New York because she and I talk about cheese way too much. Instead of cheese, let's buy the fancy cheese. Let's buy a lot of cheese for no good reason. This is Christmas food shopping. This is she and I, like, in a nutshell. Everything in moderation is fine. Yes. Yeah, and I only get because I have no fridge. Because I literally have my eggnog and my yogurt and my milk and the chicken and I think one other thing in a cooler with ice. It will definitely be moderation. But I just got 1 quart of the eggnog and I shared it with Mark because I'm generous like that. And now I have like 1 glass of eggnog left that I'll probably have tonight, actually, when I get home, because tomorrow I am flying straight from here to Vegas. And I'm pretty sure the cooler's not going to stay cold long enough. But yeah, I have everything is in the wine fridge. It's all just kind of like squished into there on the wine racks, except for the stuff that's on the counter. Hi, Jacob. Are the cats getting a Christmas present? No, I don't buy presents for cats. They have a lot. I have like a giant bag full of toys that the cats play with, and then I'll probably throw a couple more toys in there and be like, oh. I mean, the cats are pretty spoiled. Right? Oh man, Andy, I'll tell you, it was so weird how like that day that everybody got fired, like all the old guard came out of the woodwork and were like texting and calling and some of them turned up at lunch, and Larry Sharp turned up at lunch. Isn't that crazy? I have not seen Larry Sharp in 15 years. For those of you who don't know, Larry Sharp was the program director at 107.7 The Bone when it flipped from KSAN to The Bone. He's the guy who hired me the first time. Brandon, did I check out the ethics report on Matt Gaetz? I didn't need to, but when they were talking about it on the news this morning, I knew you were going to ask me about it. And you know what I'm going to say? There's nothing in there that we didn't already know. Want to know how we already knew? Because he was prosecuted, or he would have been. His friends that he did all those things with went to jail and got a reduced sentence and a plea bargain in order to testify against Matt Gaetz. But then, mysteriously, the investigation and prosecution against Matt Gaetz was dropped. And his buddy still had to do the time for the plea bargain that he negotiated where he was supposed to testify against Matt Gaetz. Everyone knows this. None of this is secret. All of this is public record. Every bit of it. So the fact that everybody's going, oh, they're releasing the ethics report, opening on Matt Gaetz. Oh my God, look, he did this. Fucking duh. Hi, where were you people when he was doing it? Where were you people when plea bargains were being made to testify against him? And then the charges were dropped and everybody was like, nothing to see here. And you guys voted for Trump, and Trump was going to make him attorney general because he hires all the best people. And yeah, so you know that like, God, Brandon, I mean, it's exhausting. Right, Sherry? Rum raisin syrup sounds good, especially if you light it on fire, which sounds fun. Oh, that spider, Rodney, let me tell you, Boris was scary. And the scary thing about that spider is it stayed there for hours. Did everybody get a chance to see that freaking giant spider on my door, the garage door to the house? So the garage door opens up onto the cat's room. Where is it? Right? Now watch. Look at that thing. Look at the size of that thing. Yeah. Fuck that spider. So I was like doing all this stuff around the house and I'm running in and out of the door. And every time I would open the door, the spider would be there and I'd be like, ah! Even though I knew it was there. Until finally I would get to the door and then be like, wait a second. And I would open it like this. And then I would get it all the way open and then I would like walk all the way around him. to get past him and then come back in and then gently close the door so that he was gone by this morning though, but he was there all damn day yesterday. It was insane. Hi, Aaron. Am I ready for Christmas? Not exactly, but most of that is the fault of my BFF who dropped an 8-person gift exchange on me like 4 days ago, and I am completely unprepared for that. I think I'm going to have to throw everything because I need to carry on because I don't have enough time between leaving here and getting to Oakland Airport to check a bag reliably, So I'm going to have to carry on all these gifts, and you're not allowed to carry on wrapped gifts, right? That's still a thing, I think. I got to double check with TSA, but so I don't know. I'm just going to throw a bunch of garbage into a bag, and then I'm going to have to Santa chuck that at everybody and be like, here's your unwrapped gift. Here's your unwrapped gift. It's something I found in the garage. Thanks, Terry. Happy holidays. Tom, you're high right now. No back pain. Cool. See, you're already high. You don't need more weed. You don't need to put weed in the food. All that cheese. It is a Christmas miracle. That's on top of the cheese I bought at Costco, by the way. It's a fact that cheese stimulates the same area of your brain as heroin, except for me, opioids kind of don't work, or they just make me kind of icky. And cheese, on the other hand, makes me happy. Cheese is food shopping in general, yeah. Do I mix anything with my nog? Abso-fucking-lutely. Usually I'll throw in a brandy or a whiskey. Depends on what I got. And how good the nog is. Strauss nog, cognac. I got some Hennessy at home that I mix with the Strauss. Brad, the G2G game's on. Okay. What's a G2G? Are we still talking about hockey from before? What day is this? Oh, it's Monday. Is there a Monday? Are you talking about a Monday Night Football game? It's 6:00. Yeah, Monday Night Football's already on. Yes, Andy. Freaking Larry Sharp. And he looks identical. I mean, I swear the guy has not changed an ounce. It was crazy. And knowing what I know now, I saw him and I was just like, so. And he's like, yeah, I probably owe you an apology. I was like, a little bit, but that's all right. We all ended up fucked in the end. Thanks. Oh my God, radio. It's such a weird world. Oh, Brandon, I think that I think powerful dudes are creeps for the same reason that the police force has a lot of problematic people. I think that those people decide that that's where they need to be to facilitate the things that they are into. I think it's similar to why there are a lot of pedophile priests. They find what they consider to be a safe space for their kind, and then they go there. Hey, Kathleen, how are you? Brandon, you say you would think Trump wouldn't pick such creeps to pal around with, but yeah, you would. Again, none of this is new. Every single bit of this is tired old news and always has been. It's just that everybody would rather put their little blinders on and be like, he's going to save us. He's going to save us because someone told me. Everybody knows this. Everybody knows we've got to just vote for him so that something different happens. And it's like, oh, okay. Yeah, sure. Strike that match. Something will happen. You're going to burn it down. It'll be different. Like I said, the biggest thing to come out of this week is not the Matt Gaetz report, because again, every fucking bit of that was public knowledge beforehand. The biggest thing to come out of this week is the fact that Trump tried to push through a 2-year debt ceiling suspension. Don't lose sight of that. That's what the Matt Gaetz is trying to distract you from. The fact that whatever it is that Trump and Musk are planning is going to require a shit ton of debt that they need to get through the House and Congress that we need to make sure is kept in check. So if everyone has a moment to resist bot or contact your reps the old-fashioned way, please reinforce that they should not sign any legislation that allows for any suspension of the debt ceiling, because that is one of the few things that we can change. And what do the alcoholics tell us to do? Change the things we can and accept the things we can't. I accept that Matt Gaetz is a crime-committing, degenerative pile of shit who pays teens for sex and does a lot of coke and ecstasy and weed. That's fine. And people voted for him. You know, all of Kentucky is behind Mitch McConnell, and that guy's semi-comatose. Okay, can't change that. You know what I can change? I can make sure my representative knows that I do not support any suspension of the debt ceiling at all. Every debt ceiling change should be forced through a full vote like the Democrats had to do. Doesn't it make you nervous that Republicans, who are these small government people, who are the epitome of not tax and spending, right? They're the ones who accuse the Democrats of being the tax and spend. But yeah, hold on a second. But they want to suspend the debt ceiling. I'm sorry. You don't get to be the party of fiscal responsibility and need to suspend the debt ceiling. What in the F? Hold on a second here. How am I just 10 minutes short altogether? All right, well, we are going to have to pull an audible, guys. I'm going to have to play all these songs, and I'm still going to be short. Oof. All right, well. What just happened? 15. Huh. Sorry, guys. I just suddenly went from like everything looks fine to, and now we're 10 minutes short for the day, which is weird. Okay, hang on a second. Okay. At any point, Merry Christmas, Brandon. Yeah, the spiders were awful. Gift bags. I don't have enough gift bags, and I don't want to go buy them. I don't want to buy things. I only want to use things that are at my house. Like, I will literally wrap your shit in newspaper because you told me last minute that you wanted all those gifts. Or what I might do is I might cut the paper and then kind of just wrap it around the gifts to make sure it fits, and then set all the paper flat and then fold it and then pack it that way so that it's not, I don't know. Schnapps in a nog. No. That's schnapps is a flavored liqueur that you're supposed to enjoy the flavor of. Like, I mean, you could add schnapps to a nog, but the nog is the flavor, right? So it's kind of like Fireball, right? Why do you need to add cinnamon to whiskey? You're supposed to enjoy the taste of your whiskey, or you enjoy the taste of something cinnamon flavored, but not the both. Casomorphin chemicals in the brain. Oh, the cheese. Mm-mm. Rainbow Grocery had the cheese, Kathleen. Yeah, F that spider, dude. It was scary, scary, scary. And it was, oh, a tarantula on the door? Oh, no. Tarantulas are the size of vermin. I can't deal with that. Oh, yeah. And, oh, don't get me wrong, Andy. Larry was great to me, too. It's just that salary-wise, and when he initially hired me, there was a little bit of how do I describe? I'll just fucking say it. He basically hired me at the same rates the night jock was making. How do I know? Because Billy told me. And when I said to him, wait, you're hiring me at what? He was like, oh, like his face got this look on it like, oh, you're not just excited to have the job. You actually know what this is supposed to pay. And I was like, dude, do I look stupid? And he goes, no, but you're still pretty green. And I was like, the fuck I am. I've been on your station for a year now. And he's like, well, yeah, but this is a full-time job. And I'm like, I did middays in Modesto and I did nights on KSJO. And he's like, well, yeah, but this is a marquee position and we need to make sure you can handle it. And I was like, handle it how? And he's like, well, we've had basically what he said was we put a woman in this position before and she became difficult. And we need to make sure you're not going to be difficult. So we're hiring you at a fraction of what you should be making. But I'll tell you what, since now we're hiring you at, a good chunk below what you should be making, we'll revisit your salary in 90 days. Well, in 90 days, we went from Susquehanna to Cumulus, and they immediately took the night jock from the budget, which meant obviously there was no more money to pay me since we didn't even have money to pay a night jock at all. And Billy Steele had already quit, and we were about to hire Todd Pine, and we had to not hire Todd Pine and then have Joe Rock voice track nights going forward. So, it's stuff like that. Stuff like in his head, it didn't dawn on him that he was being misogynistic and sexist and chauvinist about it. But I think in hindsight, with the ability to see what happened and how it happened, I'm sure he sees it now. And that's what I think he meant. Oh, thanks, Red. Have a good one. Well, you're still here in radio, Andy. I came back. I left for 7 years. Hey, Johnny, more Meshuggah tickets? Not this week, no. But between now and April, maybe. He already has people like Mitch pushing back on this lunacy. Mitch can't push anything. He's half dead. Hang on a second, guys. "1077 The Bone and the Police" with that song about stalking people, which always makes it weird when people use that as their wedding song. It was hugely popular as a wedding song in the 80s, and I'll bet you every single person that had that as their wedding song in the 80s is divorced now. Speaking of divorces, Gavin Rossdale's new 35-year-old girlfriend looks a lot like Gwen Stefani, but Gavin Rossdale does have a new TV show coming out in the 2025. Hold on. I probably shouldn't do that. 1077 The Bone and the Police with Every Breath You Take, a song very popular at weddings, but also about a creepy stalker. Pretty sure everybody that used this at their wedding is divorced now. All right, let's see. Yeah, I am literally 10 minutes short. I'm going to have to just call an audible and add some shit because I definitely don't want to have to call. Let's see. I got to find songs I know aren't going to get programmed otherwise. Hi, Justin. I'm good, thanks. How are you? Brandon, have you tried the library? Libraries get new books all the time, and you can check them out online on your phone. You can get Audible books, you can get Kindle books, you can get all that stuff for free. Justine, wasn't radio easier when I was just popping in CDs? No. Actually, I never worked in radio when you just popped in CDs. I mean, in college we did, but now there's always a lot more that can go wrong with CDs than with the computer. Oh, yeah. Well, being 10 minutes short is weird, but what it is because it looks like we don't have as many commercials as we usually do. So the programming software that programs the songs wasn't really paying attention. And at the end of the day, we're missing 10 minutes. I'll figure it out. Brandon, I can blast anything I want in the studio. And sometimes I do, but most of the time I don't. Most of the time I listen to what we got going on. If there's a song I don't want to hear, like Every Breath You Take, and then I'll just turn it down and I'll listen to nothing for a little while. Brainwashing is the best you can come up with for Republicans. It's not brainwashing if you let it happen, Kathleen. I mean, people are actively seeking out the confirmation bias that lets them be right and lets them hate the people they want to hate and blame the people they want to blame. And they all voted for Trump so they wouldn't have to vote for the Black woman who was also Asian. But they didn't want it to be because it was a Black woman who was also Asian. So they had to come up with all these other reasons to vote for a rapist and a racist. And yeah. Antonio, I like skating, but not skateboarding. I mean, I'm not good at skateboarding, is what I'm trying to say. And I have a skateboard, but whenever I get on the skateboard, I take my life in my hands. I'm better with roller skates than a skateboard. I'm better with skis than a snowboard too. So, and I'm better with water skis than a surfboard. Something about, I think it's because my knees are crooked, and something about having to keep my feet facing the same direction and then also balance, it throws me off. Merry Christmas, Javier. Hey, John. I do not like spiders in real life, no. At least there's not a scorpion, not scorpions. Low bar, Jan, low bar. At least there's not scorpions. Yeah, we were market 4 back then, dude. They should have paid a lot, but they didn't. And then they never did. And then I never got a raise. Yeah, I did. I did technically get a raise. I remember the first year Larry was like, so after 90 days, he was like, well, obviously I can't do anything. He's like, but I'll take care of you at your yearly review. And then at my yearly review, he was like, good news, bad news. I got you the maximum. And I was like, and he's like, well, the maximum was 3%. And then the next year he's like, yeah, the maximum was 1.5%. And at that point I was like, you know what? Whatever, dude. I'm not here to argue with you anymore. Can I go? I got shit to do. And then we went into a raise freeze. And remember the furloughs? The furloughs were the best. That made so much sense because back then we were charging $5.50 a minute for my AT&T live reads. And I had 4 AT&T live reads in a week. But they furloughed all of us for 2 weeks so the company could save money and get back on its feet during the Great Recession. And I think it was Lee in charge at that point. I think Larry had already been laid off too. And I went and I was like, can you tell somebody that it doesn't make sense to furlough me because you're going to lose more than $2,000 just in my AT&T live reads for me not to be able to be here to do them, much less whatever other live reads I have. I go, when I don't do those AT&T live reads, they have to get scrapped. They can't be made up. They can't be done by anyone else. So if I'm not here to do them, you're going to lose more money than you're paying me because you damn sure aren't paying me $2,000 a week. And they were like, it doesn't matter. Penny wise and pound foolish. And I don't think much has changed. I mean, that was in 2009, dude. Right? because I started full time in 6. So it was February of 07 that I got the 3%, February of 08 that I got the 1.5%. And then in February of 09, I got the furlough. And then from that point on, no raise, no contract, no nothing. Speaking of divorces, how about the handsome devil of a governor we got here in the Sunshine State? Oh, is Gavin getting divorced again? I don't care. You know what? Show me one thing Gavin Newsom has done that Trump has not done worse. Or Mitch McConnell, or Matt Gaetz, or anyone. Show me anything of substance that I should be concerned with Gavin Newsom. Help me out. The song was more about surveillance and obsession. What's the difference between surveillance and obsession and stalking? Dan, I think you just defined stalking. If only we all had flawless mugs, Brandon. Amy, Merry Christmas. 33% of the country is hardcore MAGA and has been for 10 years now. Yes, it is willful stupidity on the part of America. This is who America is now. America used to be more smart people and more compassionate people. Oh, Moon Pie is here to crap themselves. I don't know. Can a pie have a gender? Let me know if you get the attention you're looking for there, bud. You got to tap out, Justine. I do too, because, well, I'm 10 minutes short and I got to figure that out. No, thanks, Justine, but I didn't ask for anything or hint at anything for Christmas. So I've already gotten everything I wanted. Yay. Skateboarding is terrifying. Oh my God, you saw somebody get hit by a bus on a skateboard? Jesus, man. Way to get dark all of a sudden, Brandon. Jesus. Brandon, you might want to go plant some trees or bake a cake or do something to bring a little happiness into your life, bud, because you are way too deep into the politics and death lately. I mean, if you're happy, then cool, but it feels like you're not. Hey, Kevin. Gavin Newsom looks like Vincent Price. I think I can see where you're coming from. Happy holidays, Jacob. Thanks for stopping by. You're happy you have a dog? You're just a pessimistic brother. All right, cool. If that's you, you do you. Just don't let it get don't let it get to you too much. And like I said, you know, those people are all out there now, and they're only gaslighting themselves with whatever excuses that they've been giving themselves. You know, the bottom line is it's time to stop pretending that people who voted for Trump aren't bad people. They are. They're bad people, because the truth is right in front of their faces, and they still chose poorly. That's pretty much the definition, Aaron. I mean, it's pretty bad. Thanks, Jim. Merry Christmas. Gavin Newsom looks like Sven. Tony, you're going to hell for that. Well, overall, there's very little we can do, but there are things we can do. And again, it's just training your brain to focus on the things that matter and discard the things that don't. They don't have the media, arguably. No, they have Fox. You know what's funny is a friend of mine posted something the other day, and oh God, what was it? I forget what it was, but the angle he took on it was the Fox News angle. And when I put in the headline that it was there was some kind of aid to Africa, Like Biden had signed a bill sending however much to Africa. And the headline was like, Biden sends this to Africa while we have people still recovering from insert most recent hurricane here. And I was like, I'll bet that's not true. And so I clicked on it and it was like, Biden sends X amount of dollars to Africa. And the only news source of all of them that had Biden sends money to Africa, Biden signs bill for African aid or whatever it was, the only one to have that headline tied to hurricane relief was Fox News. And it's that kind of muddy water that all these people like to wade through. Because here's the thing, right? The Fed, FEMA already gave $1 gajillion to all those hurricane victims. You know where they're having trouble with the money? At the state level. You know why? Because they don't have taxes. Because they're all too busy being red states that can't tax people because we red states. And that's why we red states. Well, we're all over here in California paying our taxes. And as soon as we have a disaster, we are Johnny on the spot. We get our federal aid and then we have our state aid handled. Whereas these states are like, oh no, what do we do? Nobody's taking care of us. When the Fed was literally on the ground handing them $750 cash plus all this other FEMA shit that they were eligible for in huge amounts of federal aid. But what they haven't been able to come up with is the state funding that is supposed to supplement the federal aid because those states are trash. They have Joe Rogan, and Joe Rogan has clearly killed a lot of brain cells with weed. I don't know what to say. I mean, why would anyone with two brain cells to rub together consider Joe Rogan a source of anything other than comedy? Because that's all he is. He's the guy that used to watch people eat cow brains as a competition. He's not the guy you listen to when it comes to politics. The New York Times has, I didn't have to give up my Times. Every time I'm ready to give up the time, every time the Times jacks up my prices, I call them and they knock it back down to like $4 a month. So I keep them. Hey, PJ, Merry Christmas. Blame Brandon for the politics, PJ. He's the one who brings it up. I don't see you here bringing shit up. Where you at? You were like, Merry Christmas politics, when? I didn't see you saying, hey, insert topic here. Thanks, Amy. Happy Christmas to you. And I just really tapped in to say Merry Christmas anyway. So, Rogan says voting works now that Trump got elected. Oh, Jesus. Well, that's stupid. Gerrymandering works now that Trump got elected, I think is what he's trying to say, but okay. Merry Christmas, Eric. Oh my God, Rogan hangs out with Alex Jones? How is Alex Jones even allowed to be anywhere after what that guy did? Who's Mark Azacada's favorite wrestler? No one. I don't think he watches any wrestling at all, dude. Oh, look, Moon Pie's back with some excrement leveled. What's the word I'm looking for? Related? Yeah, well, anyway. Thanks, Kathleen. Merry Christmas. And Joe Rogan is an idiot. That is true. Yeah, I gotta get out of here, guys. Merry Christmas. I will see you probably back on the 26th. I'm only flying to Vegas for like 36 hours. So have I ever met Chris Jericho? Briefly. Very briefly. Like at the Golden God Awards, I think. I think we were like in the same green room for a while, having drinks with the same people, but we weren't talking to each other really. Yeah, tap out, Aaron. Everybody tap out. Everybody tap out because it's the fucking holidays, man. And go find something that'll make you happy. For me, it's going to be that cheese and some eggnog when I get home. It was also that pizza that my mom and my sister and my aunt brought me earlier. And don't miss my flight. Don't you tell me what to do. I have missed many flights and I will miss many more. Take care, Sherry. Yeah, and again, everyone, your local record store is going to open tomorrow by noon at the latest if you need those last minute gifts, or if you just want to hang out with cool people for a little while. Don't shop at Target or Walmart or Kmart or any big mart. Don't shop at a mart when you could shop at a record store. All right, guys. Mwah. Happy holiday. I'll see you on the other side.